always an honor and a pleasure to be here, and obviously my years in Africana Studies, some 40 years as a professor at San Diego State University in Africana Studies, has had a profound impact, obviously, on my life and upon what we do in the Assembly and how we approach things. And so I really appreciate being here, being president, being on your board of directors for probably 15 years and chairing the organization for 4 of those years has been one of the high points of my life, to see this organization develop and to grow under my leadership when I was chair of the board. So it's so good to be here. I currently chair a number of committees. I chair the Campus Climate Committee. Some of you are aware of the issues that happened in California around racial issues at San Jose State. I was appointed the chair of the Campus Climate Committee, which we've issued a report, and we'll be having, the committee has been reconstituted again, and so we will do that this year. I also represent or chair a commission on the higher education in San Diego County, looking at the development of a new institution in San Diego County, a Cal State campus. I'm also on the higher ed committee, the education committee, the appropriations committee, and I chair the state budget, the budget committee. And so, so have lots of challenges, great opportunities. One of the things that happened in 2013, right after I was elected and sworn in, is that we got a letter from Cal State Long Beach concerning the status of Cal State Long Beach as a department, an effort to move them from a department to a program status. It became a major issue for us in the caucus, and fortunately, we had a new chancellor coming into the CSU, and we had an opportunity to meet with him, and the Black Caucus, under the leadership of Holly Mitchell, made it a priority for us as a Black Caucus to look into the issue. I then authored one of my first pieces of legislation, which was a resolution concerning Black studies in the state of California, basically codifying the fact that it had value in our institutions, needed to be supported and sustained. That resolution passed unanimously on the floor of the Assembly because of the commitment that so many people had to Black studies. During that resolution, we discovered that probably all of the members of the Black Caucus and just about every member in Chicano studies and in the Latino caucus had some positive impact as a result of ethnic studies on their life, had determined in some way those departments had basically been the foundation for them staying in school, doing well, and becoming the legislators that they became. So we then had a state hearing in which Marlon and others attended in Sacramento concerning the resolution. And many of our Latino colleagues attended that hearing. So that it basically emphasized at the state level that this was a very important discipline. We also had conversations or testimonies from a number of our white colleagues on the floor of the Assembly that basically said they too had been impacted by ethnic studies, that this was the first time they'd had this information, it motivated them, it changed their whole perspective. So we got an idea to see what the impact over the last 40 years that ethnic studies in the state of California had had. We then got a commitment from our chancellor that they would not touch the program, they would not reduce the program, and that they would then at the CSU level engage in a study concerning the program at Cal State Long Beach and report back to us. Since then, we've gotten that report on the status of ethnic studies in the CSU. And we continue to monitor that. There was almost somewhat of a budget play at one point because we do control the budget of CSUs and community colleges. And it was a budget play that basically said, you know, we'll have to look carefully at budgets if we can't seem to help or can't seem to support ethnic studies. We can still do that as budget chair. We can still have budget play. So that's important for people to understand. So we decided to have this hearing. When you decided to come to California for your conference, I thought it would be a unique opportunity, having served with National Council for many years. We've never had a legislative hearing. We've never had our legislators to attend the National Council of Black Studies Conference, to hear what's being said, to get a commitment or a thought about what is happening nationally. And this would be an opportunity to do that. We've invited for our first panel to be those who represent the institutions. We have 3 major institutions in the state of California that we control. Clearly, we know there are many private institutions that are here, but we fund our community colleges, we fund our Cal State universities, and we fund our UCs. So we support those institutions not only in terms of funding, but we also create legislation concerning them in terms of what we think are important, looking at their curriculum, looking at the structure, all those kinds of things become a part of the legislature. So we're very pleased today to have representatives from each one of those institutions.